On any given Sunday, they come. Visitors, seekers, searching for a deeper connection, a place to ground their spiritual yearning, a place to belong. Our best guess estimates the number of weekly visitors nationally in the thousands.
Yet, are we fulfilling the promise of a welcoming religious community? A home for those who seek what we have to offer? Or are we, in fact, repelling them in droves? It's difficult to hear that about ourselves. We've all found a spiritual home in our church, a community that we love, and we certainly don't intentionally turn our back on the newcomer.
But when you consider the big picture, the figures seem to reveal a different story. Let's take a quick look at a few important numbers. Our congregations now report nearly 160,000 adult members, not that many more than when the Unitarians and Universalists merged more than 40 years ago. Since a period of decline in the 70s, we've been growing about 1% a year.
And that's just as paltry as it sounds. It's roughly one person per congregation per year. That's right, one person per congregation per year. Most of the growth in the last decade has come from a handful of churches, about 6% of them accounting for almost 2/3 of our national growth. But here's a most unfortunate truth. Most churches are slowly growing or slowly declining, creating essentially zero growth.
Now, this is not because no one's interested in becoming UU. Most churches get dozens to hundreds of visitors each year.
So, the real question is, why aren't those visitors coming back, connecting, and eventually becoming members? It's because we're not asking them to.
We think the solution is relatively simple and easily within every congregation's reach. Our experience has taught us that the congregation that pays attention to its visitors will be the congregation that grows and makes a positive impact upon its community. And that's what this video is all about.
Good morning. Good morning. Glad to have you here.
Countless people in your community want a liberal religious home. Those who drop in on Sundays to visit have a pretty good idea what your church has to offer. Many have checked you out on the web or have heard about you from friends, and they're curious about our faith.
In sales terms, many of our visitors have pre-qualified themselves and they're ready to buy. We just seem to have trouble closing the deal. Why? It usually goes something like this.
A couple of churches where we went, and it was the first time we were there, and nobody spoke to us. Nobody. We just sat in the pews, and then when the service was over, we left, and nobody had said anything to us.
I take it you didn't go back?
No, we didn't.
We didn't go back.
No.
It's hard to imagine anyone intentionally treating a visitor that way, but unfortunately, we sometimes do.
In the next few minutes, we'll share several welcoming initiatives that are working for us here at Jefferson Unitarian Church in Golden, Colorado.
At the end of this segment, we'll present several discussion starters that we hope will help you see your church with fresh eyes and evaluate how you're doing from the newcomer's perspective. Step one is simple. Say hello.
Good morning. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Fine. It's good to see you. I'm well. It's good to see you.
So one of the things that I've tried to do is not only to preach about the importance of openness and compassion and hospitality, but to be out front every Sunday. It shows that I think it's important to be welcoming people.
You know, Peter is out on the front walk. We have 2 or 3 greeters at the front. We have a special YRE greeter, just a youth religious education greeter, just for people who have children who are new coming to the church.
What people experience when they come here for the first time is going to be not one person, but several people who genuinely are glad to see them.
Have a welcome table. Have welcoming people at that welcome table who are mindful on Sunday morning about seeking out those new faces and making sure that each of those new faces is warmly greeted and given a connection at the church. Whether that connection is a hug or a smile with a friendly hi and a little conversation, or someone who will take them in and sit with them in the service. These are all small things that are huge in the psyche of somebody who is visiting a church for the first time.
Step 2 is letting the visitors know they're important and that you're glad they came.
Let me say that one of the things I think people are looking for when they come, the essential thing that they're looking for, is to belong, is to feel like they're part of something.
Thank you for coming.
They are greeted from the time they walk down the sidewalk. It'd be pretty hard for them not to get greeted at the front doors. The ushers know that they're a part of welcoming people, that they're some of the first people they see. And it's part of their responsibility to help create an excellent worship experience for people.
So we need to sit.
My name is Robert Baker. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees here at Jefferson Unitarian Church. Whatever the faiths you have known or the flags of your heritage, you are welcome here. Whoever you are and whomever you love, you are welcome here. And whether you ran in here today on little feet, or walked in briskly, or ambled in, or rolled in, you are welcome here. Welcome to Jefferson Unitarian Church. I'd like to extend a warm welcome this morning to all of our visitors and guests.
We ask visitors if they feel comfortable to stand up and introduce themselves.
Glad to have you all here. We'd invite you to fill out a guest registry form at the front welcome table if you haven't done so already. And I'll also be available at the new member counter in the back of the South Commons to answer any questions you may have about JUC or Unitarian Universalism. And of course, we'd also welcome you to join us for coffee in the South Commons as well after the service. We have a number of announcements this morning.
We have a period of time where we greet our neighbors. And often that's hard to stop because we like to talk and meet each other.
So that means that after you've gone past the minister and past the people at the welcome table and other people around the welcoming committee, then you come into the church right away. You're meeting a bunch of other people, and this makes it easier to have a conversation after the service too, that they're aware that you're new and you've chatted a little bit with all of life. And when we sense that connection, another thing that I do that isn't really obvious is that I try to have the visitor in mind when I prepare the sermon, and this can be something as simple as not using jargon, not referring to the UUA and GA and all that kind of stuff that's easy to fall into.
Today's offering will be shared between the
I think the other piece is the offertory.
We ask people who are visiting us for the first or second time to let the basket pass.
You are our guest today, and we're delighted to have you with us on this special day.
So again, it's trying to give that message that visitors are important. We're honored that you came, that you care. Ironically, saying that has not affected the plate collection a bit. It has no effect. Some people put something in it anyway, but I've heard a number of people comment that it felt welcoming. That's why we do it.
At the end of our services, we hold hands, which is another small but extremely important connection. That when people are physically touching at the end of a service, then it just seems like the natural thing as you drop hands to turn to one of the people at either side of you, especially perhaps when you don't know, and to, again, greet them. Or maybe ask them to join you for coffee.
Step 3 is creating a culture of welcoming throughout your church and your programs.
Over the course of years, the culture here has shifted to one instead of that makes the members comfortable by just visiting with their own friends. Now there's really a sense that all the members are part of our shared ministry.
I feel that we've really committed ourselves as a congregation to letting folks know we are glad they are with us, and we hope that they're happy and will stay.
Scooting over and making room is a metaphor for lots of things. It doesn't just happen in the pews on Sunday morning. And I think a part of that is our board's intentional decision to not do work on Sunday mornings. And it's hard to do that because everybody's here on Sunday and it would be so efficient to get that kind of work done. But we really decided it was time to really model welcoming.
Hospitality, a really deep practice of it, is a spiritual practice. And like any spiritual practice, it changes the practitioner. You think you're doing it maybe for the other people or to help the church grow. But in fact, if you are willing to be open and to encounter other people, and you do, and you find out as you do that there are these terrific people who are looking for something like this, it changes us. I mean, I have seen here how it changes the spirit of the congregation. It feels better about itself, being a more welcoming place. It feels stronger. The new people coming in and, you know, having kids running around and new faces, there's a vitality to it. So the practice of being open and hospitable is a transformational practice. It really makes us, I think, more whole, more alive. It's really a way of living more religiously.
Okay, now it's your turn. In just a moment, we'll ask you to turn off this video and discuss the following questions. From a visitor's perspective, what's it like walking into your church for the first time? Now think this through. From finding a place to park, to opening the front door, to sitting through your service, to saying goodbye. What are you doing well, and where are you falling short?
With those newcomer impressions fresh in mind, identify concrete actions that you can take to address the 3 steps we've identified. In other words, what concrete actions can you and your congregation take to do a better job of saying hello? What steps might you implement right away that will convey to visitors that they are valued and important to you? And finally, what long-term initiatives can you undertake to foster a deep-seated culture of religious hospitality in your congregation?
All right, you-ers, it's time to start your part of this workshop. We recommend you designate a scribe to capture your ideas and a facilitator to focus the discussion and keep the ball rolling.
Now remember, basic brainstorming rules apply here. At this stage, all ideas are welcome and unjudged. Our goal is to get it all out for discussion. You'll have plenty of time to get it all right later.
In just a moment, this DVD will return to the main menu. Join us again when you're ready to take a look at the next stage in our video workshop, From Newcomer to New Member. Thanks for watching.